gives me every time.
Hi, I'm Jeff Sudbrook, and this is T3 Talk. We're at T3 Performance in Avon, Ohio. And today my guest is the real CT, Collin Taylor. Welcome to T3 Performance, but this is not a strange place for you. You're one of our performance coaches here.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on. I've seen all the celebrities that you've had on T3 Talk before, so I'm flattered just to be part of the group. Thanks for having me.
So, what is your role right now? We'll talk a little bit about what you're doing now, but I want to get back to CT, the athlete. But tell us what you're doing at T3 Performance.
Sure. Like you mentioned, I'm a performance coach here at T3. I work with athletes of all ages, from 6 to high school to college to professional athletes. Most recently had the opportunity to work with Oberlin College. A couple of us coaches are over there as a part of the strength and conditioning staff over there. So rolling now towards further and more often towards college athletes, which has just been awesome. We're about a week and a half into that, and that couldn't be any better. So things are going really well over there. Spend the mornings over there and then spend the afternoons here with, doing everything like we mentioned, from athletes to adult clients.
That's great. We're going to get back to that, and we'll kind of end the show a little bit about your current role at T3 Performance. But I want to go back to Collin Taylor, the high school athlete. You're not from Ohio. You played your football somewhere else.
Yeah, so I'm from just north of Indianapolis, Indiana, originally. Born and raised in Carmel, Indiana, which is, fun fact, Carmel is the world center for roundabouts. We have the most roundabouts per square mile, so that brings a lot of people from all over.
You get dizzy driving
Carmel,
through there
Indiana.
a lot, or
yeah, absolutely. You got to really maintain focus, and a great place. Family's still there, and so I get back there as often as I can. So born and raised in Carmel, and then played college in Indiana, and then have moved out here after moving 6, 7, 8, 9 different places.
Just a high school football player, or you play other sports in high school?
High school football, played a little bit of high school basketball, ran track for a little bit, but really fell in love with high school football, and the team game and the camaraderie. And some of my best friends played high school football with me. Some guys who I'm still best friends with, and who will, I imagine, be in my wedding 30 years from now. They'll be standing right there next to me. So had an awesome time playing high school football. Had the most success, obviously, playing high school football as well.
So now it's time to leave high school. Graduate of Carmel High School in Indiana. Where do we go to college? How'd you make that decision?
So my grandfather was a 4-year letter winner tennis player at Indiana University. My sister was a 4-year letter winner on the track team at Indiana University. So I had to follow in their footsteps to prove that I was not the worst athlete in the family. So I decided to go to Indiana University, and ended up actually walking onto the football team. Was a pretty long shot coming out of high school. Had some opportunities to play at smaller schools, but I actually attended the biggest school in Indiana in high school, so it was hard for me to decide to go to a smaller school than the high school I went to. So pursued Indiana University. Hard was on those coaches, was letting them know that I really wanted to play for them, and ended up getting an opportunity my freshman year, and had to work out with about 94 other guys.
Wow.
They picked 7 of us, and I was one of the lucky 7 picked to play at Indiana. So had a good 4-year run there, and loved every minute of it.
Nice long career at Indiana. So now it's time you finished your college football career. What positions, by the way, in college?
So I went to play receiver, ended up having the most success at safety, but started games at defensive back, linebacker, wide receiver, kicking, punt returner, and then all the special teams. So I kind of was, the Swiss Army knife of positions. I could do them all.
Play against our Buckeyes some?
A couple times.
Yeah.
Was very unsuccessful every single time. I believe went 0-5 in the 5 years that I was there. The 4.5 I played.
Yeah.
That redshirt freshman year too. We just played some really incredible Ohio State teams. It was the Troy Smith era, and then it was the whole Terrell Pryor era, and I mean they were just incredible teams. And I mean, obviously, still had a lot of success. We've had a little more success past few years, but I don't think I struggled against any other team like I did, and like we did as a team as we did against Ohio State.
So a boy from Carmel, Indiana, has to earn his way onto the Indiana University football team. Does quite well there. Football career is not over yet. What happens after that?
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that. I training for my pro day. The idea obviously is to hopefully get a shot in the NFL. Had some workouts, no success came from that, and then actually got a phone call from an Arena Football League coach asking me if I wanted to come play in the Arena Football League, and I said, I absolutely will. I'm just not super sure what the Arena Football League is. And kind of rewinding back to the early 2000s, I remember watching an Arena Football game on TV and my mom telling me that when I grow up I should play professional arena football so she could meet John Bon Jovi, who at the time was the owner of the Philadelphia Soul team. So, fast forward whatever it was, 10 years, 12 years, I had the opportunity to play arena football and spent that first year bouncing around. I mean, I was all over the place. I was in Iowa and Chicago and Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, before I landed a pretty good gig there in Tulsa to finish the year.
We're gonna get with your years with the Cleveland Gladiators because they're quite impressive.
Yeah,
but also when I'm reading through your professional career here, China comes up. Tell me about playing football in China.
It was incredible. So I was a part of the inaugural Chinese Arena Football League season where they basically took it would have been 120 or so American players over there, and there were 6 teams. We were in China for 8 weeks. We played 6 weeks. It was 6 games in those 8 weeks, and each team had 21 players. There were 10 American or foreign players on each team, and 11 domestic Chinese players on each team. And it was such an incredible experience. We were over there 2 years ago. I actually played on, and I can say this with no shadow of a doubt, the greatest Chinese Arena Football League team of all time.
Really?
We went 0-6.
What's the name of the team?
Let me say, we went 6-0. Yeah, the best team went 6-0. Won the Chinese Arena Football League championship game. I was named co-MVP of that game.
That's awesome.
I had to play both offense and defense, and I think ended up statistically the maybe 3rd best receiver in the league as far as stats go. But the idea was just to bring the sport to China and introduce it to them, and got some players. We had been playing all for 20 years. The players over there had been playing for 20 months or so. So it was awesome.
What was the name of the team there?
The name of the team, the Beijing Lions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Lions part I could get easy, but I wasn't sure about the Beijing. And then there was there another team that you played with called the Power? Or?
Yeah. So after the first year ended, they started a free agency over again, and I was the first player picked up in free agency to the Guangzhou Power, and it took me, I think, 4 of those 8 weeks to realize how to say Guangzhou. So I am under contract with them. They're going to fire up the league again in 2019.
Nice.
And so it'd be an awesome opportunity to be able to go over there again. But I mean, it was really just for, you don't always get to travel to places like China, and especially to bring the game I love over there and experience how that was incredible.
Well, let's talk about your years with the Cleveland Gladiators.
Sure.
And unfortunately, it looks like the Gladiators aren't going to have a team this year. We're going to talk about that. But if you guys you want to do what I do, just go ahead and Google Collin Taylor and look at some of these impressive stats. Even look at the Cleveland Gladiators here. Yeah. I mean, Collin, your years there it looks like you were a two-way player at times, but you've looks to me like numerous records, or at least for those years, as a wide receiver.
Yeah. So I moved to Cleveland in 2014. After a couple years in Iowa, I had a coach who didn't believe I could really do a ton on offense. The coach in Cleveland had some faith in me and gave me a shot. And my first year, I was rotating in with a guy who unfortunately ended up getting injured. And then after I believe it was 5th game of the season, after that game, I had a pretty good game as a starter, and then didn't leave the field for the next 4 seasons with the Gladiators. Ended up setting multiple receiving records. Actually, the one I'm probably most proud of is we had 37 games in a row with a touchdown reception, which was at the time second in the league behind a really incredible player who's got over 80 or something like that. But I played with 5 different quarterbacks in that span of time, won a lot of games, helped take the 2014 team to the Arena Football League Championship, which we played on ESPN and sold out the queue. And I mean, it was just an incredible journey. My head coach at the time is still a very good friend of mine. It was pretty much a father figure to me as far as the Arena Football League game goes. I learned so much from him, and like I mentioned, we're still in contact. And my quarterback at the time is still one of my best friends, and some of the guys I've met in Cleveland I talk to every day. So Cleveland football has been very good to me, and I owe Cleveland everything for helping push my career further and get me to the position I'm at now.
Well, unfortunately, the Gladiators aren't going to have a team this year. You going to miss that, or what's your plan?
Yeah, it's going to be a bummer. They're doing some renovations to Quicken Loans Arena, so they're shutting us down for a couple years. I feel bad for the players, but I feel worse for the fans because we have the best fan base in arena football. And Cleveland fans love their sports, and they would bring 10,000, 11,000 people to games. And we were number one in the league in attendance. And it's something different about playing at Quicken Loans Arena than it was playing other places. We definitely had what they call home field advantage, and I was able to become friends with and even some of the fans, almost family, because you'd see them. I would see them more often than I would see my family. Right. But so I feel terrible for them. But I know that they still support us, and they've supported me through the whole thing, and they've been excellent. So it's a bummer not going to be able to play. Right now, there are so many good things happening here at T3. I haven't even thought about playing. I imagine it would be tough watching an Arena Football League season go on without me playing, but we'll see. We'll see.
One thing I got to tell you too here is that I was down at the Quicken Loans Arena a few weeks ago with my son at a Cavs basketball game, and he picks up their tip-off magazine, and he's just standing there in the lobby. We're waiting to get to our seats, and he comes across it, and there's a page there right here in the tip-off magazine. And my son says to me, he goes, "Hey, Dad, that Gladiator player looks like Collin Taylor." And we look a little bit closer, we see he's wearing number 17, and we recognize a few of those tattoos. That is Collin Taylor, ladies and gentlemen, with the Gladiators. And you were nice enough to autograph that for my boys.
They do a heck of a job with Photoshop. They can make anybody look good. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Working close with the Cavs organization, obviously having the same owners, we had some awesome opportunities. And just being able to be in a magazine like that is pretty cool. And every once in a while we'll pop up. I was driving home a couple years ago on 480, and I had to give a double take, and I looked, and I turned out that I saw that there was a billboard with me on it that I wasn't aware was there. A big billboard with me. You
didn't go off the side of the road.
So no, I almost did, but I realized it would have been a heck of a pickup line. But I didn't unfortunately use that enough. But I mean, it was cool. The organization was awesome, and I hope the best for them. Moving forward. Well, the next couple years.
The Gladiators' loss, or the Arena Football League's loss this year, is T3 Performance's gain, and I really mean that, CT. What I've seen you do here with the athletes from 6 years old up to our college and professional athletes that come here. I see you working with the high school football players and them just thirsty for that knowledge that you have, and you're actually teaching them on the field. And I hope you enjoy that as much as they enjoy having you here. And I know these people can come and set up lessons with you individually or be a part of one of your classes or the football lessons, and I think that's something you really enjoy now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you mentioned, I unfortunately didn't grow up 6'4" and ran a 4.340 and could jump 60 inches in the air, and I kind of had to put in a lot of extra work than a lot of other people do who you see at at the professional level, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. I had a great support system growing up, and still my family's been my number one fans, and they've supported everything I've done, and because of that I've been able to travel around, play with a ton of different teams, play at high levels, and get a lot of knowledge from top coaches, and I had to do things on my own, film study and things like that, to figure out what gives me and my skill set an advantage. And so I think that helps me when teaching youth athletes or even high school, college and professional athletes, that, I've seen a lot of things that people haven't seen who kind of grew up, being faster, bigger, taller, stronger than everybody. So that gives me an advantage, and I love sharing all that stuff to some of these players, because you'll say something and then it's like a light bulb will come off, and they'll say, "Oh, that's what he was talking about the whole time," and that's an incredible thing for me, and it's great for when I figured out on the field, but there's just a little different level of that satisfaction you get when you're able to give it to somebody else and they can have some success with it.
Collin, and I really mean this, you are a true professional on and off the field.
Thank you.
If you haven't had a chance to be up here at T3 Performance and be a part of one of Collin Taylor's classes, the Real CT, I suggest you take part of that, or if you're a high school football player, come and get some of this knowledge and some of this coaching that he has to
Absolutely.
offer. So once again, this is Jeff Sudbrick. I'm with the real CT, Collin Taylor, Cleveland Gladiators Arena Football League star, and now a T3 performance coach, also a star. We're right here at T3 Performance in Avon, Ohio. Thanks for watching T3 Talk.